Yes, yes. Welcome into Balloon Party 101 ESPN. My name's Tim McKernan. That's Jackson Burkett. Jackson, let's do it. Show's presented by Munganast. I mean, they make the whole thing possible. Not just any Munganast. St. Louis Acura.com and AltonToyota.com. Air Comfort Service text line active. I got it open right now. So if you want to actually be able to have my beautiful, honestly, seductive blue eyes see your words, text in right now. 314-399-9646.
Let's get after it.
Oh, wow. You just kind of rubbed your hands together to convey to the audience you're ready.
Well,
Can you put the YouTube on if you're going to be so ready?
sure. The old advertisement right there. That's all that is.
It's the same thing.
Now, I'm sure I'm going to get some message popping up. Nope. All right, we're golden. No, I mean it's a beautiful day in St. Louis.
Oh, you going to compress over at Log Cabin?
Played a little afternoon 9 yesterday. And let me tell you,
Executive 9.
one of the most enjoyable rounds. Just a gorgeous day. Walked 9 with a couple buddies. Super fun.
Did you shoot 300? 200?
No, I was like 6 over.
Where'd you play?
Grief Corps. That's right down the road here. And
Wow. Public course, right?
yeah, yesterday was a day where I was like, I let my relatability fly. And, play the local track. A bunch of kids going in to play ice hockey, and it was good to see them. But I was out there compressing, and it was such a gorgeous day. I felt wrong to be inside for another second. So and walking 9 with your friends, that's about as good as it gets.
Now, Jackson, I told the listeners that if they texted the Air Comfort Service text line, I would see it with my, you call them ocean water blue eyes, but more Pacific, not necessarily Atlantic. It's a little rough.
After, off air, I'll often just hearken to Tim and say, hey, blue eyes, and I'll tell them to come over here.
I've heard that.
HR is getting a little question on that one.
The water boy is the first one that came in and said, great, basketball talk's back. Eye roll emoji.
I haven't said a word about it.
636 says, hi, Tim. Hi, 636. Another 636 says, I'm a male and I'm wet. Hello, male. 314 disagrees. It says, not beautiful eyes.
Tim's? That's slander.
Yeah, I don't know. It's actually libel.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you can say about Tim, but beautiful eyes is an absolute truth.
Billie Eilish, Ocean Eyes?
Yeah, I really like Billie Eilish. Great music.
Please, no basketball talk. That's from the 314.
I get labeled as being triggered sometimes, but it seems like there's no more triggering topic in this community than basketball, so maybe you should look inward.
Hey, Jackson, what did you think of the Blues game? Oh, yeah, you didn't watch it because you're a moron, LOL.
Most of that text was true, except the last part. I did not watch it because I'm not a moron. I chose to watch something else. This is America, right, where you can do whatever you want?
Cleo McDowell, 1988.
Liberty. I thought these people...
This is America, Jack, and he said that to King Jofi Jofer. Jofi Jofer? Jofi Jofer.
I always said Jofi.
Why?
That might be...
We need to do a deep dive on that.
The palace in Coming to America, right at the beginning, that seems like that's where I want to be.
The palace in Zamunda.
Well, the bath that takes up the entire bathroom, like a pool.
Oh, yeah, the misogynistic scene with the
well, yeah, I mean, certainly.
Nice. Some of that, to explain that to my kids tonight.
Some of those things from 87 have not aged well, of course. Is that 87 or 88?
88.
Okay. Some of that has not aged well, but the actual, the roses in the water, I really like that. It seemed very calming. But yes, very misogynistic.
Is Tim wearing a hat today, or do we have to continue to look at a stick of roll-on deodorant? That's from the 314.
Dan, you can come after me all you want. Listen here. I want you to have all these people listen good. You can come after me.
This is cute. I don't need your protection. You're a prince of a boy. I have been receiving the love for a quarter century. And I'm not even 50 yet. Mm-hmm. I'm not even 50 yet. Mm-hmm. I mean, the legacy that I have left on this market already. Can you even imagine? I think it deserves a full year documentary.
I can't fathom a 365-part documentary where you're the only person interviewed.
This is the best hour of my day every day. Wow, I wasn't expecting that. I just was good. I was planning on reading insults for the next minutes.
It's easy, certainly more of them.
As blue as the hurricane-infested waters of the Atlantic, but then with a heart emoji.
I really like to go boogie boarding. It's been a while since I've gone boogie boarding. Just think of the Atlantic Ocean.
Did this Jackson just volunteer kind of as a non sequitur that it was nice to see a bunch of kids yesterday? It's from the 314.
That would be leaving out context. There was some youth hockey going on, the same facility as this golf, and it was just nice to see kids going out there to practice hockey. Not having to have skates at 5 in the morning, have it in the afternoon. I bet that's better for both the parents and the young hockey players.
Americans are free, but sports talk teammates should watch sports, fella. That's from Janet.
I did.
Parentheses, maybe.
I watched sports all evening last night.
So what do you think of the Shen opportunity with 40 seconds left? Net's empty. Blues trying to mount another comeback, and there's a glorious scoring opportunity, a yawning Net welcoming the equalizer, but alas, could not be converted.
Yeah, I saw it, and I didn't watch the game, but I watched the highlights, saw that part. You're going to miss some of those. You're going to make some of them. Last night would have been a great opportunity to convert. They didn't. It's a long season. Winnipeg's undefeated. This is a really good hockey team that they were playing. The second period is the more glaring issue than Shen missing.
What was your issue with the second period?
It was, I couldn't tell. I don't know enough about hockey, really.
Right. I think that's where we should have just started.
I never know when a goalie's playing well or if it's on the defense. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know, if a goalie lets a goal in, is that the goalie's fault or the defenseman's part? I don't know.
I think there are goals that I think even a novice who's watching Bron and Bronny could tell would be for a guy most likely making millions of dollars, he's probably going to tell you under oath that he should have had that one. And then there are some times, for example, the one-timer from the blue line last night. I mean, Jordan Binnington, I don't know how many times he's really going to save that one. You had the goal against the Hurricanes on Saturday night, Jackson, in which Buchnevich is just skating on by. And the Hurricanes netminder had no chance because he was screened both by Buchnevich and the defenseman. So, sometimes you're going to have things like that, but then you're going to have softies. So here is how I would attempt to define it. Here's how I would. No softies allowed.
Okay.
Period.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I say full stop like I'm tweeting?
Yeah, I got to write this down.
Okay. That's a tweet.
Okay.
And then secondly, you save a couple that probably would have gone in without your cat-like quickness and agility.
Yep. So no softies.
Yep.
And then some of the more 50-50 shots.
Watch the first 8 minutes of the Stanley Cup 2019 Game 7. Because that could have been about 4-0 Bruins.
Right. I do remember that.
All right.
He was spitting wooden nickels.
Nice. That was well done. All right. It's 10:12 in St. Louis. What is today's series of questions called?
It's a Wednesday, so it's a wide berth Wednesday.
Oh, nice.
And so...
You told me on TMA you feel good about your series of questions. For the record... Not as good as you did yesterday, but you get into role play, you were telling me. And you want us to role play as Eli Drinkwitz and Kalen DeBoer and Brett Bielema and Dan Lanning.
Essentially putting ourselves in the minds.
Like when Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon grab the sticks with the face of the people and then they play the characters.
Ideally, yeah. Something like that. I think that my best question was better than anything I have today, but I think
Interesting.
The volume of good questions I have today is stronger.
Wow.
So,
okay. It's good analysis.
Quantity, quality.
It's good analysis. Full stop. Who is this guy, BK? That's from Thanks, Dad. BK says full stop a lot?
I don't know. That's
I feel like that's a Twitter thing.
It definitely is. Full stop.
Yeah.
My favorite thing to see on Twitter is a thread. 1 of 34.
What about some personal news?
Only ball writers. Just no other profession.
So if you're leaving Stiefel.
Sure.
And you're going to Goldman Sachs. And I know that's the decision that you were making right around the collapse of the markets in 2008 as a 10-year-old wunderkind.
It's really my Sophie's choice.
And then you chose to be a board op.
Yeah, I went for the tertiary option. Feeling pretty good about it, too.
So when you said as the world was collapsing in 2008.
Yeah.
Some personal news.
Yeah.
I've just decided.
Tweeted that to my 4th grade class. I just bought property, so I'm screwed.
And it was Stiefel Nicholas then. I've decided to spurn Stiefel Nicholas and Goldman Sachs, and I'm gonna work toward being a board operator in 2024.
Yes. Yep.
That's what you tweeted out.
Yep.
Some personal.
I tweeted out,
but you're saying it's only ball writers?
Well, because who else? If you're in another job, who would you be tweeting that to? It'd be essentially starting a big group chat. So I get why it's only ball writers, but I also, because of my age, I have a lot of friends who move around a lot in journalism, and so I see a lot of those tweets. Well, can I get your brief thoughts on this?
I mean, it's our show, Jackson.
Yeah.
You don't have to ask for permission. You're a champion. You know what you are? You're a champion, boy.
So I have a couple of buddies who are in journalism, print, and
Do you want me to do an intervention?
that I think
Christopher.
past the point of no return with that. But I really like these guys. However, because they're covering teams that all over the place I don't really care about, they have a lot of updates. It's their job to be on Twitter and give updates and tweet the stuff all the time. I don't really like my Twitter timeline messed up with that, so I have them on mute. Does that make me a bad guy?
No, not at all.
Okay.
My wife sometimes will make an observation, but people are talking about this story or that story. And I go, where? And she goes, my Facebook feed. I go, yeah, that's there. You want me to hand me your laptop? Let me do a little muting for you.
Right.
You'll never see this stuff.
Right.
You know who I follow on social media exclusively? Ella Reese. Everybody else is muted.
I respect that. But it's like if a buddy's covering, and I don't have a buddy who does cover this, but if they were covering University of Houston, I don't necessarily need my Twitter timeline filled up with 100 updates today about Houston basketball and football. So
You're not over the Missouri loss to Oklahoma and Calvin Sampson in 2002.
right, this is really my chance to
I got
avenge that loss.
Can we talk about how the Blues stopped singing Country Roads? Hallelujah. That's from a 636. I was actually thinking about trying to take both my boys, and I don't know if this would be bold, a 7-year-old and a 2-year-old. 2-year-old's begging to get on skates.
Nice.
And I can't skate.
Yeah.
7-year-old can skate, but just sending those two lunatics out on the ice by themselves while I just sit there and watch.
Having your 7-year-old teach the 2-year-old.
I feel like I need to have everybody sign a waiver before I do that.
Yeah.
But either way, me taking them both down to the game last night, I was thinking about doing that. But then they wouldn't get to bed until super late, even though I tell my 7-year-old that they only play 2 periods during the week, and that's how we get out of there. Point being, I haven't been to a home game this season yet. Sure. So I was not aware that had taken place.
That's interesting.
That's the lead.
Yeah. I wonder where you think people are on it. They're pretty split, I bet. I bet half really liked it and half detested it.
Certainly, you had a vocal number of fans did not like it.
Right.
But I don't know if you had a silent majority on it.
Right. I think just because it doesn't really have much correlation to do with St. Louis or the Blues. However, I don't know. I think traditions like that, whether organic or otherwise, are
neither did Gloria.
Right, exactly.
But Gloria wasn't talking about a specific region that is not this one. So, for example, what I did wind up doing last night with when the Blues went into intermission, and the whole family was in the bed. First time I had 4 people in bed with me in about 7 years. And so I said, you know where Missouri's playing? Roll Tide this weekend. And I turned on some Dixieland Delight at Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Yeah.
Try to get the 7-year-old fired up for 2:30
Hell yeah.
in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, brother, when Dad's going to take Alabama and lay the 13.5, and he's going to stare down the barrel of having to go to CVC if things don't work out. All due respect. And I said, take a look at what goes on in between the third and fourth quarter. They wasn't that interested.
Fair enough.
And then they start playing Tennessee when they beat Alabama, which they did in Knoxville in 2022 and 2024. And then the Volunteers #troll Alabama by playing Dixieland Delight when the fans win. Because I think they kind of feel like the song's more about Tennessee, but it's done by a band known as... Oh, no, God, no, not today. Not today.
A band...
No, not today. You can't not know who sings Dixieland Delight. You can't not know it. Triple negative. You can't not know it.
I feel like if I just give a guess, I'm going to get lambasted. So I'm going to do it because that's fun. Dixie Chicks? I felt like that was how,
BK and Ferrari.
Context clues.
Be up in 41 minutes. We're just going to play PSAs. You believe the Dixie Chicks did Dixieland Delight?
I don't know.
And you call yourself an SEC fan?
It just means more. Who sings it?
Alabama.
The band's called Alabama. The horse's name is Friday. Hey, you can I don't know. I don't know who sings Rocky Top either. Some Hoosier.
Oh!
Any chance I can get? Give me an inch, I'll take a mile. I'm sorry, I didn't know. That makes sense. Well, that would make more sense why Alabama would play it too.
Right.
So Tennessee
fans are like, they're talking about...
Well, they got their own song.
Rocky Top.
And some would argue it's a better song than Dixieland Delight. I wouldn't. Of course, everyone knows LSU, Let the Band Play Neck is the best.
What about Mr. Brightside down at Furrow Field?
Doesn't hit the same.
Really? Wow.
I like it, but
Make it stop with this guy!
can't, won't.
Jackson, get off the air!
The damnedest thing is I control these levers, so you're kind of at the mercy of me.
Piddles likes Dixie Chicks, of course. What a beta!
I love Dolly Parton. What, is that a bad take?
Well, Dixie Chicks has nothing to do with Dolly Parton.
Oh, you're right. Swing and a miss. Blues lose last night to the Jets. 4-3 your final. A little trip through Canada coming up.
But it wasn't.
3-2. It is still a 1-goal difference. 1 goal there.
Tell the guy who had the over at 6.5.
Was that the number last night? That would be, yeah, I feel bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're off to a wonderful start on today's edition of Balloon Party. For the record, Dixie Chicks performed Dixieland Delight. The Blues lost 4-3. And Rocky Top, some Hoosier sings that song. I believe
that's the only take that I feel strong about. The other ones I was clearly off. That one I'm staying with that. The other ones, yeah, that's on me.
Willie wants to know, does Dixie Chicks equal Pat McAfee for women? That was a take that went awry a couple weeks ago.
I don't know enough about anything.
Morgan
Apparently.
Wallen and Pat McAfee appeal to a certain kind of man is what your take was, remember? So I don't know if this is, remember that?
Yes. 100%. I don't know enough about, clearly I don't know enough about the Dixie Chicks. So
Natalie Maines.
yeah. Okay. So I was off. That's all right. We'll get back in the saddle, proverbial saddle, and we'll just keep riding.
All right, fair enough. Wide Berth Wednesday, off to a strong start here on Balloon Party, 101 ESPN. Well, it's honesty in media, DBA Balloon Party, and just real transparency here. I am concerned about today's show. There's 36 minutes left, and I fear that we might not be able to land this plane safely at 11 o'clock. But Jackson has a wide berth Wednesday. We're role-playing, and I'm contractually obligated to be here for it.
I've taken on turbulence before, and I've done just fine. Quick question.
Sure, I'm taking questions.
Better plane crash in a movie, Flight with Denzel or Castaway with Tom Hanks?
I think Castaway was. You feel that one more.
Yeah, Flight's really good too, though. When he inverts, when he flips the plane, let's get nuts.
I'm going to go with Castaway.
Okay, I'll go Flight, and people can text in. In the meantime, let's get into this wide berth Wednesday. I'll start with the role playing.
Okay.
Put yourself in the shoes of Kalen DeBoer, Eli Drinkwitz, Brett Bielema, and Dan Lanning right now, and describe how you would be talking to your team this week. For DeBoer, how do you talk to your guys about getting up for a game where everything is stacked against you and avoid the domino effect thoughts that might be running through your mind?
The thing that I would say that he can say is the same thing that I would say Eli Drinkwitz can say, but I think it probably has a little more credibility, which isn't a shot at Drinkwitz or anybody else, coming from DeBoer, and that is we win out, and we can, because we beat perhaps the best team in the country, even though they have a loss and Oregon doesn't. We can still win everything that we set out to do when we showed up here in whenever they did, June, July, probably January. So, yeah, it's gotten away from us, but it's still all there for us. Now, the next question is what would you say if you're Eli Drinkwitz? I assume.
Yeah, for Drink, how do you prepare a team that has underperformed but just shown the first sign of a pulse in the previous game while also dealing with a banged-up quarterback?
I love that you feel more about what took place this past Saturday than I do. And I was there, and I was on a high. I mean, I went to my house.
Yeah. You wouldn't be doing that if they took the L.
You're damn right.
Yeah, you'd probably be back in STL.
No, I'd already committed to the hotel on Friday and Saturday night. But I don't view the comeback against Auburn as, say, Georgia probably views the comeback against Alabama, even though they lost the game, because Auburn, and the reason why I live bet Missouri, and I don't know if it was the reason you live bet Missouri when they were down either 17-3 or 17-6, was because I think I did it when they were when it was 17-6 because I knew Cook was coming back in the game.
Yep.
Is because I looked at the field and I go, wow, Auburn's offense is dreadful. They will not be able to score more than 17 points, and I think there's a better than 16% chance, I was getting 8-1 on my money, that Missouri will score more than 17 points. So therefore, I shall fire a bet. Point being, Auburn is garbage, and we cannot. Well, you can do whatever you want. I cannot spin my way out of that. If they would have done that against maybe 6 or 7 other SEC teams, I would think differently of it. Now, with that all established, it's kind of like the Ohio State Cotton Bowl win. I look at that and it strikes me as really obvious, and I think probably college football fans around the country see it one way. And then you have how Missouri fans view it, and it's two different things. But it doesn't matter. If I look at it, and college football fans look at it and go, yeah, Ohio State ended their season when they lost at Ann Arbor. They didn't give a damn about the game. And Missouri fans go, that might be our best win ever. It doesn't matter, because for Missouri fans, it felt like it mattered, and it carried momentum into the offseason, whereas if they would have lost, it wouldn't have. And so we might be calling ball, strike, and going, nah, Auburn's garbage. But if in that locker room, they're like, now we got it. We got a guy who was in the hospital and came back over and led us to a victory. Now we've hit our stride. So if they feel that way, even if the country's going, God, they've had to scrape by Auburn and Vanderbilt and Boston College, and they got blown out in their one chance to play a legitimate contender, this team's a mess. Doesn't matter. Because keep in mind, the week before they beat Kansas State, they nearly lost to Middle Tennessee State last year, and they got that win, and then off they went. So that's how I would hearken back to that if I were Eli Drinkwitz.
I would too. And the reason I think I'm a little bit higher on what happened,
because you have a more positive outlook on life than I do.
There's that, but it was less so about the result than the process. Like the process to me, like Brady didn't look different than he had looked all year.
Because he was shot up with stuff.
Well, dude, run it back.
That isn't the way that stuff works.
Well, if it's one thing, but if we don't know exactly what he was given, I have no idea. It's wrong to speculate on it. But I think that it just the team looked and felt different. Like, they had an exciting play for the first time in weeks. That Mookie Cooper run was an exciting play. I know Auburn's defense is not good. I know their offense is not good. But I just think...
I don't think their defense is terrible. I think their offense is terrible.
If you're looking for any signs of even the slightest momentum back to positivity, I think we got the biggest example of it in that last quarter against Auburn. So that's why I think that is kind of what I would push along with the Middle Tennessee State thing from last year. I think we're on the same page in that regard.
My issue is I would love it. I just can't imagine Brady Cook gets through all four quarters healthy on Saturday. But if he does, let's see what happens. The drop-off between Cook and Pine is stunning.
Yeah, that's
stunning. Unless he just had a bad day, you know.
Threw that one damn good ball to Theo Weiss. I don't know where that came from. I don't know where that came from.
But as I say, I was at the game and I didn't see it on television. I don't know if the cameras captured how off the throws were. It was alarming. And clearly the offensive coordinator and Eli Drinkwitz were going, okay, we're going 3-yard pass plays and handing it off. And we'll figure out Tuscaloosa next week.
Yeah. Let's head up to the trip to Eugene for Brett Bielema. How do you set your sights on glory as a surprise team that has an opportunity to turn a good season into one of legend and facing the number one team in the country on the road?
They didn't give us a chance against Kansas. Look what we did to Kansas, not just that night, but their whole season.
That's right.
They didn't give us a chance in Lincoln, Nebraska. We heard Go Big Red is back. Go Big Red is still exactly where they were. Boom. They didn't give us a chance in Happy Valley. Boom. We had the number 3 team in the country fighting for their lives into the fourth quarter.
Boom.
Michigan, national champions, done. Well, guess who's next? It's the Ducks. And I don't give a damn about what they did to Ohio State. Remember how Idaho and Boise State nearly got them? Boys, we're better than Idaho and Boise State. And tonight, we get them.
Hell yeah. Got him ready to run through a brick wall. Right, you might have to hold me back. Yes, you got to fight. You got to go into all of that
because you're playing with nothing to lose.
Absolute free
You're already
roll.
free rolling.
Absolutely. Now,
free rolling and freeze them up.
Now, if you're Dan Lanning, how do you get your team to not look past anything about this Illinois team? How do you get them to regrow? I mean, we've seen they're the number one team in the country, but number one teams in the country have changed hands a couple of times this season. How do you avoid that if you are the Ducks?
Listen, boys, around the country right now, people are saying that the real champion still is one of those teams, all with a loss in the Southeastern Conference. They say it just means more. None of those teams beat Ohio State. We did. Let's not take our opportunity for granted to run the table, something no SEC school can do because they all have losses. And let's finish this thing off and send a message that in the Pacific Northwest, the best college football is being played, and we are beginning a dynasty here and now, and we cannot afford to overlook a team that nearly beat the team that is fighting with us for the Big Ten championship in Penn State. If they can hang with them at Happy Valley at night, they can hang with us. Do not take them for granted. Let's continue what we started by beating Ohio State. That's what I would say.
I love college football so much.
Are you about to weep?
No, it's to me. It's
and
just.
If you are, I want to know. I support that.
It's just. It's to me like.
Oh, you're thinking of LeBron and Bronny checking in.
No, sir. Although they are that it's special. Obviously, the product and the players in the NFL are top tier, cream of the crop, outstanding. But the weekly, almost soap opera that college football is, and the discourse around it, the week leading up to it, the day after, and the overreactions and underreactions, and then the absolute chaos that goes on in the field. I just think that's what sports are all about, and I just love it so much. I love it. I just love it so much.
It's the brevity of the season that makes it more intense, but it does go rather quick. I mean, we're in like the 6th inning of the season already.
Oh, I know. Yeah, I think
it just feels like a couple months ago when Murray State was rolling into town, Buffalo was rolling into town, and guess what? It was less than that.
Wide-eyed and bushy-tailed I was, but. And that's another great thing about the CFP is we just get way more meaningful college football games, and it's just so awesome. It's so awesome.
You're in a happy place. I like that.
I love college football so much.
Look at that. Look at you.
But
I know people are watching on YouTube.
Growing up, that wasn't the case. This has been like a past 5 years where I've really discovered my I just think it's so great. I don't know what changed in me. I think losing an NFL team really did that to me, but that was long before that.
Yeah, but I mean, only one city. Well, I guess Oakland lost everything, but other teams, San Diego and St. Louis and Oakland. But point being, college football is experiencing a surge around the country, and many of those places have NFL teams. So it's It's a correlation, not just limited to the St. Louis area. The one thing that does suck is that they're both playing at the same time.
Yeah, that's the only that's the only downside of it. Like,
what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Right, and I kind of wish Mizzou was playing Bama at night. Obviously I know a night game in Tuscaloosa is nothing to sneeze at, but I would like to watch both, and I kind of like the idea of that atmosphere. Like, if you're gonna beat Alabama at Tuscaloosa, do it
because then you can hear the Dixie Chicks perform Dixieland Delight.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to wear that one. That's all right. I'll wear it.
Yeah, I don't even know what's your top 10 though, honestly.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, Jackson's top 10
foibles.
Yeah. Send them in. 314-399-9646. Air Comfort Service text line. YouTube chat's active as the day is long. And we're in the midst of a wide berth Wednesday. This is Balloon Party, 101 ESPN. Underdog is the place to play if you are a sports fan looking to win money while watching sports. With over 5 million happy players and $2 billion won, Underdog makes it fun and easy to cash in on all your favorite athletes' performances. Just call your shot by picking higher or lower on 2 or more player stats. Underdog's for everyone, so you can make a play with only $1, go big, and win up to 1,000 times your money. So turn every touchdown into a win with Underdog. That is what you can do. Who you going with this week? Maybe you're going to go with kind of a sneaker play, maybe a Buccaneers receiver.
Ooh, yeah.
Because you're not going to have Evans or Godwin.
Yeah.
Okay, let me fire a little shot there.
Going against the field.
Yeah.
Going against the grain.
It's game theory season. And then you also have a vulture protection. If you select a designated running back to score a touchdown in your pick'em entry and they get vultured, they will rescue your entry at Underdog. It's currently Boostober on Underdog, where there's a promo to play nearly every day. From now until October 27th, you can boost your profit on all NBA entries by 20%. Download the app today and use promo code McKernan to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's McKernan, and $1,000 in bonus cash instantaneously. That is with Underdog Fantasy. That is right. It is Underdog. Check out the easy-to-use app. It's Underdog. Download the app today and use the code McKernan to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. It is Underdog. Must be 18 or older and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
This is Action Jackson with a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues lose last night. Final score of 3-2 at the hand of the Winnipeg Jets. Blues are off tonight. They will play again tomorrow evening as they take on the Maple Leafs up in Toronto. You can catch that game right here on the home of the Blues, 101 ESPN. Pregame at 5 p.m., puck drop at 6 p.m. And on the night where they raised their 18th championship banner, the Boston Celtics defeat the New York Knicks 132-109. St. Louis and Jason Tatum with 37 points, 8 for 11 from behind the arc. That was our Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
Go back to Blue Party 101 ESPN. Tim McKernan, Jackson Burkett with you. Jackson's in the middle of this Wide Berth Wednesday series of questions. And this place is buzzing right now. I wonder what the next question's going to be.
Banana, banana, banana.
I don't think I even need to call the audience's attention to the blatant zoning out and delay tactic that is currently going on right now. It's so obvious. Everyone knows it.
All right, here's one. This is a bold question. This is one that could go a number of different directions. There's been a lot of discussion recently about quote-unquote breaking the game in the era of analytics and more risk management style of strategy. Some examples are baseball and the shift, NFL and 2 high safeties on defense, the spray and pray three-point style in the NBA, etc. Do you think a sport can ever be truly broken to the point where you have to fundamentally change things in the sport, or do you think it's on coaching staffs and players to counteract? What do you think has been the most significant changes to a sport in your lifetime, something that totally changed how things were played?
I don't know. Baseball and the shift? I don't know. I don't really got a whole lot for you on this one. I got to be honest with you. What are you thinking?
Nothing that stands out to me in a major way. I mean, not anything recently changing rules. I guess the NFL and the emphasis on roughing the passer, targeting defenseless receivers. I think based on what I've heard from football players, I don't know if it's as glaring on television, has really changed how defenses have to play. Especially pass rushers and how the emphasis on roughing the passer and how different that. But also, I understand that completely. But whenever I hear breaking the game is broken. I have a hard time thinking about it because the game always evolves. It always has evolved, and it might devolve or change it back to a way. I think you've always talked about 80s and 90s baseball and how much you'd love to see that again. And I think some of the rule changes baseball has made are trying to lead to that. I just don't know if it'll ever come to fruition like it did in the 80s and 90s. The bigger bases, very nice, but... All right, well,
different rules for, say, Jordan versus now in the NBA.
Yeah, hand check would be the biggest thing there. Defensive 3-second. NBA is that totally changes why you see as many dunks as you see. Also, when it comes to sports, do you think people are quicker to be critical than they are to praise or appreciate something? If so, why do you think that is? Does it seem like the more vocal minority, or do you think situation by situation you have a good feel on the public opinion of something?
Well, I think the answer to that question depends on how much time you spend on social media. So if you're on social media much, you see negativity, then you get anonymity, which then allows for greater negativity. And so I think that impacts your perspective. So if you're just interacting with people more on a face-to-face basis, i.e. friends, I doubt it's as negative as, say, arguing with a stranger with a dog avatar on Twitter.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And then everything is awful there.
Right.
And then you have memes and you dunk on people with 5 billion times more dollars than you. But hey, you got to make fun of them.
I like that perspective. Situation by situation, do you feel you have a good feel on the public opinion of certain topics? Do you think as you've grown into this industry more?
Here is where I think things have changed. I think oftentimes actually, businesses bow down to social media pressure, even if they either know something that if it were public would totally change the perspective of the social media mob, or it's just easier to cut a check and then have it go away. That is the difference. I recall when Twitter was really at its zenith, I think, but it was in the early stages, so I'm talking about like a decade ago, that there were complaints that by broadcasters that executives were like monitoring what people were saying on social media, and that then would frame how they saw a broadcaster's performance. And this is at the national level. This isn't local stuff. And, it's one thing to like read it, but it's another thing to actually take it as credible, because for the most part, it's going to be angry. I've oftentimes drawn a parallel to the sound off section of the Post-Dispatch, which was something that we looked at as a parody, even though it was serious. It was unintentional comedy, oftentimes from older people. And now you have the sound off section come to life. But if a business were to actually alter its strategy, or a team were to actually alter its strategy by sound off, we would laugh.
Right.
And now I actually think you have businesses and teams altering strategy based on social media. I think in college sports, perhaps it's the most impactful, because you can have people off the street, isn't probably a fair term to use, but who are very wealthy, who are boosters, who can call a shot on firing a coach.
Yeah.
If they don't like what's going on, and those people most of the time are not really in the know, and they get caught up on what goes on in those college message boards or social media, and the next thing you know, you can sense when a college coach is going.
Yeah.
I don't think it's necessarily the case as often at the professional level.
Definitely, because locally, I feel like Berube, you can draw a parallel to that. Football all the time, I feel like. NFL, I don't know when the coach is going to get fired. If you ask people in Philly, Nick Sirianni should be fired like every Sunday. But then you look around the rest of the nation, like, I don't know, the Eagles look like they're pretty decent. I don't know. You get some grifting going on, but...
You think there's grifting going on? Who's grifting coming your way in 48 hours?
That's true.
It's 10:50 in St. Louis. Time check brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers. One segment of Balloon Party left. This is Balloon Party on 101 ESPN. Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota, presenting sponsor of Balloon Party, official automotive provider of TMA and the Tim McKernan Show podcast. Place I go to get my cars, place my family goes to get their cars, place I recommend you go to get your cars, and that's Munganess, St. Louis Acura, and Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. StLouisAcura.com, AltonToyota.com. That's for new cars, and that's for pre-owned cars. That's for buying. That's for leasing. And that's also for the service department. So if you need to get your car serviced, even if you did not get your car from Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota, still get it serviced there, and you can work with Ryan Seiberg in the service department. And if you're looking to buy a car or lease a car, talk with Jamie Burkhardt or Peter Munganess. It's Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. Online at stlouisacura.com, online at altontoyota.com, and then they got a number for you to call or text with any questions you might have, and that number is 314-252-0029. It's Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota. Welcome back to Balloon Party 101 ESPN. Jackson, we have 3 minutes. Got to make them count. What are you going to do with them? 180 seconds. Go.
Do you like a quick hitter?
Yeah.
What do you think is the best win as of right now in college football? Do you think it's Oregon over Ohio State? Do you think it's Alabama over Georgia or Georgia over Texas? Those are your three. That's what I think the consensus is.
Oregon over Ohio State.
I was thinking that. I think one could make a case for Bama over Georgia. One could make a case. And then one could say Georgia because it was on the road could make a case. But I think if you were to poll people, I bet people would say Oregon over Ohio State.
I think there's a good chance Ohio State wins the national championship.
Right. Like I think because now like it's still crazy to me that Bama would beat Georgia based on how we've seen Bama play since. And
yeah, but if Jalen Milroe's not healthy,
yeah,
that
totally
makes sense.
That would be but the defense playing as poorly as they've played too. That's they
were shutting out the Vols.
Yeah, they were.
Half.
But they were blanking Georgia.
So was Florida.
Yeah. So if I put the poll up, do you think it would be Oregon, Ohio State 1? Do you think people would say Georgia, Texas 2, or Alabama over Georgia?
One of the great things about me, and I don't want to limit it to one, is I don't give a damn what other people think. Right. So, would they think that it's 2? Would they think that it doesn't matter? The answer is Oregon, Ohio State.
No, I'm with you. I agree. I'm
now,
agree.
What do I think the public would say? I think the public would probably say Alabama over Georgia because the public usually is caught up on what they saw most recently, and they saw Georgia look great most recently in Austin, and Alabama lose 2 of their last 3.
Yeah, maybe 3 of their last 4.
Oh, sweet mother of mercy. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Jackson Burkett, and he's taking Missouri on the money line.
I might. I wouldn't. And if the number is juicy enough.
You're going to take the Gers money line?
Some people do emotional risk management. I double down on my pain.
You're going to get hit from both sides.
Yep, but also the glory.
The glory, that's right.
No. It'd be a special Saturday right there.
Has that ever happened for you where you bought a money line on a big underdog and it paid off?
No. Okay. No.
Well,
in fact, the opposite. That's not true.
Okay, what do we have?
Missouri basketball when they played Tennessee 2 years ago. DeAndre Golston half-court shot. I had Mizzou money line. So that was like plus 400 or something.
Nicely done.
Because Tennessee was like the 6th best team in the country at the time. Yeah, that was awesome.
Nicely done.
Yeah, that was what an afternoon that was.
It was a Jim Dandy. Felt a lot of optimism. Then they beat Utah State.
Yep. And then they
ran into a buzzsaw that was Princeton.
Well, then they got blanked.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do us. BK and Ferrario are coming up next. For Jackson Bennett Burkett, I'm Timothy Michael McKernan. This has been Balloon Party, driven by Munganess, St. Louis Acura, Munganess, Burkhardt, Alton Toyota, 101 ESPN. James Carlton's my insurance agent. I'd like him to become yours as well. Go to carltoninsurance.net in order to make the switch. He's in Webster Groves, and he does a wonderful job, and he joins us right now. Morning, James.
Good morning, Tim. Hey, Jackson, you can get 4-1 on your money almost if you take the money line on the Tigers.
There you go.
Love it.
Do it.
Hey, Tim, how disappointed were you with my Drew Pine take on Monday morning?
I was surprised by it, but I respect you, and because I respect you, it made me re-examine my Drew Pine take. See what I'm saying?
I was just trying to give him a little benefit of the doubt because 2 of the drives ended on a terrible drop and a bad fumble by the running back, but let's hope to God Brady Cook's healthy for this weekend, and we have a great game, much better road game than they fared in College Station. But for all your listeners out there, anybody that would like to see how much they can save on auto, home, or life insurance, it's incredibly easy. Go online at carltoninsurance.net or call or text 314-961-4800.